getting back up to that first step. It's a pretty good little jump. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The limb footbeds are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches.
We didn't put that much significance on the first words on the moon. Obviously, we were wrong. The world wanted to know what we were going to say.
Yeah, I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I thought, I wonder if Armstrong understands what he's done today.
I certainly would have consulted the best advice that I could possibly have gotten, and it would have been my business between me and that person, and I would have adjusted whatever it is, and it would have become my word.
Tell me if you got a picture, Houston.
Well, you got a beautiful picture, Neil.
Okay, I'm going to move it.
Okay, there's another good one.
As soon as we landed on the moon and had a chance to look out my window and then his window.
In the foreground.
Roger, we have a large angular rock in the foreground and looks like a much smaller rock a couple of inches to the left of it. Over.
The surface is fine and powdery. I can pick it up loosely with my toe.
While Buzz Aldrin prepared to climb down to join his fellow astronaut, Armstrong collected a sample of lunar dust in case the mission had to be aborted early.
We didn't know what the porosity of the moon was. And if you remember...
There you go. Okay, now I think I'll do the same. A little more. About another inch. There, you got it? That's a good step. Yep. About a 3-footer.
Beautiful view.
Isn't that something? Magnificent sight out here.
Magnificent desolation.
Yeah, radio loud and clear. How's it going?
Roger, the EVA is progressing beautifully. I believe they're setting up the flag now.
Great.
We flag, nylon.
Yes, indeed. They've got the flag up now, and you can see the stars and stripes on the lunar surface.
You could extend it tightly to the end and have a rather stiff-looking flag, artificial-looking, or you could back it up about 3 or 4 inches and put a ripple in the flag.
This is Houston. Can we get both of you on the camera for a minute, please?
Neil and Buzz, the President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. Over.
That would be an honor.
Go ahead, Mr. President. This is Houston out.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, I am sure they too join with America in recognizing what an immense feat this is. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one.
Look forward to that very much, sir.
I was driving home, really, and just realized, yeah, man, we did it.
Now, they're careful. Sometimes it takes about 2 or 3 paces to make sure that you've got your feet underneath you.
If there's such a thing as pure joy in this world at achieving some goal, and you could do something, much less doing something.
Your whole body bursts with... I'm willing to predict to you that 200 years from now, 500 years from now, 10,000 years from now, the people of the future will look back and say, in July 1969 was the greatest month and the greatest day in the history of mankind. It was of years, and hoping someday to reach the moon. We dreamt about it when we were living in caves. We couldn't articulate it, but we looked up and said, what is that?
Proceed.
36 feet per second out.
As they blasted off to rejoin Collins, they left behind the flag, a plaque, and the remains of the lunar module. They took with them 20 pounds of lunar...
The roles where I could have been looking out the window all the time and controlling the spacecraft to land. That's just not the way it was scheduled to be. But I would say the next time, if I did have a chance to do it, I would probably try and sneak a look out the window just to be able to keep that in my mind for the rest of my life.
After 21 hours and 36 minutes on the moon, a perfect liftoff, and the astronauts are now in lunar orbit, ready to join for the journey home.
Personally, and reflecting the events of the past several days, a verse from the Psalms comes to mind to me. When I consider the heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him?
We'd like to give a special thanks to all those Americans who built those spacecraft, and to all the other people that are listening and watching tonight. God bless you. Good night from Apollo 11.
I believe the entire environmental program, the movement, really got the stimulus from moving away from Earth and seeing Earth as a beautiful blue sphere, and yet looking at everything else we saw out there and seeing it barren and desolate and just devoid of all life. And here is this only sphere that we know of where humans can survive, and we better do something to take care of it.
A new goal and new dangers as well as new rewards, and people who can and will do all that has to be done when they know.
After 8 days and 8 nights, squeezed into a spacecraft, the astronauts returned to a further 2.5 weeks confinement and quarantine.
Gee, you look great. You feel as good as you look.
Feel great. Feel just perfect, Mr. President.
Yeah. I was thinking, as you know, as you came down, and we knew it was a success, and it had only been 8 days, just a week, a long week, that this is the greatest week in the history of the world since the creation. Because as a result of what happened in this week, the world is bigger infinitely, and we just thank you for that.
After the Apollo 11 mission, there was still great residual interest in Apollo 12. Apollo 13, which was...
And I find a paragraph that says, in 1969, Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. And then...
One day down in Houston, I was driving from my hotel